Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bling Bling Jam YouTube station. We're so glad you guys are here. Today, we're going to be interviewing Patricia Robinson, who came to her first Bling Bling Jam this summer. It was awesome. It was great to meet her. We're going to talk about Bling Bling Jam, but before that, I wanted to make it all about Patricia. And and I've been following her on Instagram. She's got the best energy, and she's great. And I tell her that all the time, and I love it. So Patricia is originally from Maryland, and she now lives
Yeah.
in Georgia. And want to hear about when you did the move, when you started your balloon career, how it happened. Your business name and how long you've been in business, and what you like to focus on, and what you are trying to focus on or want to focus on in the near future. Right?
Okay. Well, first of all, Steve, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and it's an honor. And as you mentioned, yes, Bling
Welcome.
Bling. This is my first Bling Bling Jam, and like you mentioned, yes, I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
And then I made my way up to New York and spent some time
Oh,
out there.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. You were
Yep. And then
okay.
came back on down to Atlanta. So, and now Atlanta is home. I've always been creative. I've
Yeah.
always been doing things, dabbling into things. So, I can't say that, but as far as like the extent of what I'm doing with balloons now, I definitely wasn't doing that. I was doing most things how people just make cute centerpieces and things,
Right.
or I don't know, crafting stuff out of paper or making things. I'm just the type of person that like if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it big, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna look a
Yeah.
certain type of way. So I've always done that. And so my husband, when we got married, at the time, everything with COVID and everything, I have a bonus daughter as well. So I have
Got it.
so we have two girls together, and so um with my bonus daughter, every year they would go to a father-daughter dance. And so, my husband was really upset about the fact that, COVID hit, they canceled everything. Here in Georgia, it's called the Ryan Cameron father-daughter dance.
Okay.
And so they canceled it and he was really upset about it. So I was just kind of like, I can make a father-daughter dance. They'll get dressed, they'll dance, we'll make the house look great. I think I saw it like on the news or something that happened
So
before,
this
not
was this
during
was
COVID,
after COVID, or like when the COVID lockdown was happening?
when the COVID lockdown was
Okay.
happening.
Like 2020?
Mhm. Was it 2020? Yeah, probably 2020
Okay.
or 2021, something like
Okay.
that. So
Sure.
I put it
I know
together.
it's all blurred to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was planning all the things and everything, and I had the thing. I strongly believe, like when you're a creative, you have so many ideas to do, especially when it's just you. So you have
Yeah.
to realize you got to bring in somebody else on your team. So I had every intention on bringing in someone who is a balloon artist, even though I know I could do certain things, but I was focusing on other things. So, now, I strongly believe in paying people their worth, okay?
Of course.
Strongly.
Yeah.
It's just that during that time, I had already invested so much on the other side. And so when I
Right.
got the quote, I was kind of like, and then I said, okay, well, maybe I could pull back a little bit because I believe in investing in people and I felt like I wasted their time with going back and forth. But long story short, I just couldn't cut back and then the money. So if you can't pay for it in cash, you pay for it in time. So I was just
Yeah.
inflating balloons, and my husband's like, "What the heck is going on?" Because the whole second room is full of balloons, and as you know, you can inflate rounds ahead of time and things of that nature. So I'm
Yeah.
putting it all together, and at some point, I have to tell him, like, "Look, I'm planning you guys a father-daughter dance," and so that's pretty much where it all started. And so
Wow.
as you know, most people you look things up on YouTube, you Google things and things come up. So the algorithm starts suggesting stuff to you. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, try that. Let me try that. Or you
Yeah.
you go on Google or you just look at things because as you know, as deco twisters, or we look at things and it looks like shape. So sometimes you may not have someone to show you, but if you can just pay attention to the shapes or how something is, you can kind of figure it out. So that's what I was doing. And so during
Right.
that time, we were finding all kinds of creative ways to celebrate birthdays and all kinds of things. So I was like, okay, great. This is another outlet for me.
Yeah.
It's making people really happy. Let me just keep doing it. And so a friend of mine was like, you should turn this to a business. And I was like, absolutely not.
Right.
Because when you do that, then the fun comes out of it. And who
Yeah.
knows how all of this business works and taxes
Oh, you
and
didn't know the balloon world was fun.
well, I
Yeah.
didn't, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I knew that there were artists out there and I knew that they were making a really great living off of it. But to be honest with you, like what I do now, what my specialty is, I had no idea that people were wearing dresses that were made
Yeah.
out of balloons or, making
Right.
these fantastic hats or even murals made out of balloons. Most people know about balloon arches and garlands, and they're all beautiful, or even twisting. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes in people's mind.
Right.
But so that just and then so my friend, she actually tricked me. So
She
she
tricked
tricked
you.
me, yeah, she tricked me in getting a client. And
Oh, wow.
so and to this day, ever since then,
She's a
Stick
good
Up
friend.
Artistry and Design was created.
So she's a good friend.
She's a good friend. She's a good friend.
I think so. You better show her this video.
Oh, she already knows. She
Oh,
already
she
knows.
does? That's cool. So how did that work? She,
Mm.
what kind of client did she get you, and what did you have to do, and how'd that go down? If you don't mind.
So the client was looking for just something like just a small arrangement to celebrate her kid's birthday, and
Like a
so she made it.
delivery. A
Mhm.
delivery?
Yeah, the
Okay.
delivery. And so my friend made it like she was purchasing it for her daughter, but she was really communicating with the mom. It's like, hey, I know this artist, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So pretty much she was my middleman, and I didn't
Right.
know it.
Right.
Taking the order for me, collecting the cash, and then
Wow.
afterward, she's like, okay, this is for you. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking I'm doing a service for a friend. I'm not
Right.
thinking it was making a sale or anything like that. So that's pretty much how that happened. And then that mom told someone else about me. So I
Mm.
ended up creating something else. So a business was formed.
Wow. That's a great story. Like a really great story. And what a good friend. Like, wow. Now,
Yeah.
was she friends with a client as well? Or was that just like she was just telling somebody about how did she know the client?
Oh, well, that's a friend of hers.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
perfect.
that. I didn't
Okay, so
know
that's
her
a good
at that time.
situation. That's a good situation.
Yeah.
So they were all in on it. Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that was like 2020, 2021, sometime around that time.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
I had
that's
no
what
idea.
happened. And then I also, like most of us, well, not all of us, but I work a full-time job as well. So I
So
had
what do you do?
at the time, I'm sorry.
What's your full-time job? So
So I
everybody
work
knows.
at a technical college in a division called special populations. So I get to interact with students and things of that nature. So, I'm one of few people because most people will always say like they do their job, but they don't really like what they do. So
Hmm.
I like what I do.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
so it's always great because I enjoy what I do and I enjoy my business and making balloons. So kind of both ends, you're happy and
You're
you're
a
getting
happy
paid.
person. It shows. That's good. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So,
So,
okay. So you
mhm.
started doing deliveries, and then how did that
Well, it was just those two.
evolve?
It was just those two.
Okay. Okay.
Because as you know, growing a business, it's a slow ball sometimes. Building clientele, uh, walking through the mud of people saying like I'm an influencer and if you do this I will get this amount of views for you but you got to do it for free,
Oh, yeah.
learning those things or trying to figure out what is beneficial for your business, learning balloons. We've all been there where we had no idea about quality balloons and all
Yeah.
the things. So I kind of was just going in and out of that and again also just trying to do things but then I was always still practicing too, always
Right.
just trying to learn different things. The twisting though
Yeah.
came because there's a lot of quality, great balloon artists in Georgia, like people can
Sure.
do some amazing things. And I just needed to find a way to make myself stand out. And so
Sure.
what would happen is when I would have, if I was trying to build my clientele or I was trying to wow a client, what
Mhm.
I found myself doing, just like most people, one of the very first things I learned how to twist was a balloon daisy. So I kept making them until I made it the way that I like it, because there's so many different variations of making balloon
Sure.
daisies.
Sure.
And so I would slide my card in the balloon daisy, because I remember someone saying to me, like, you got to find a way to make yourself different or memorable
Mhm.
when you give your card to someone. So I would meet someone, or if I had a client, I just slide my card in the balloon daisy. I would make it really cute and just, let them know, hey, if you ever need an artist, or if you know someone who needs an artist, please feel free to tell them to give me a call. Or I would just drop it off at a client that I'm trying to gain their business. So I would just drop it off there. I've done things where I've done
Right.
drop off where I'm looking at the newspaper, and somebody may have won an award or something like that. So I would make a little small arrangement and just drop it off, say congratulations.
Right.
So I was just using all of that as promotional items in different ways.
I love that. I love that. Wow. So, um, and I don't know this about you. Do you
Okay.
consider yourself a deco twister or just a twister? Or do you,
So this year I learned the term deco twister, and
okay.
yes, I consider myself to be that because I do both.
Which Bling
I
Bling Jam is
do,
a deco twisting convention, so I'm asking you.
right.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yes, I do both. And
Okay.
I find that it makes life even like more special. I don't even think that's a that you would put that together, but it does. It makes life
Yeah.
even grander,
Yeah.
because it's one thing to say to a client, oh yeah, I can do your kids' ice cream social or ice cream party or whatever. It's another thing to tell a client, I can not only create this amazing balloon garland for you, but I can include an ice cream cone in that garland,
Yeah.
or I can build a huge ice cream cone for your kids' backdrop, or I
Mm.
can do the decor for your party and then stick around and entertain the kids as well. So, I just think that's such a beautiful dance that you can live in both worlds. Now, everybody doesn't see it that way, but I like it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love that. That's awesome. So, okay. So what's your focus now in your business, or what do you think you're focusing on mostly right now? I know you have some loves like the dresses and stuff. That's one of
Yeah.
the reasons why you came to Blink. And I know that, you came into the balloon world, and also I saw you on Instagram, and I saw you were teaching like at Capital Convention, which is awesome. Congratulations on that. Then you went to
Thank you.
out, and then you
Mhm.
were told to come to my event, which was great. You were
Yeah,
messaging me, and it was
because
awesome.
I heard that the best of the best was there,
Right on.
for balloon
Yes.
dresses. So I was like, I have to come.
Debbie. Yes. Yes. She's the best, one of the best dressmakers for sure. And
Yeah.
she does really well. She taught me, which is amazing. Um, so okay. So what is your, I guess, main focus now with your business?
Mhm.
And what, I mean, are you doing parties? Are you doing like what are you focused on? What do you want to focus on as well? And I also
Mhm.
want to know how you came up with your business name, because I love.
Oh, yeah, there's a story behind that too.
Yeah,
So my main focus right now is I'm really trying to focus on the business side. A lot of creatives, we don't take time to learn our taxes and how our books work and all of
yeah,
that. I mean, we're always simultaneously juggling everything. So while we're juggling, one thing is up in the air while another thing is coming down, and we're holding one thing. So I
yeah,
really want to make sure that that part of my business is solidified. The good thing is that, like, if you don't make over a certain amount of money, no
yeah,
one's really coming to get
right,
you. And no, please don't come and get me.
yeah, right, right, right,
It's really important that we do get a handle on that, understand how that part works. I think we
yeah,
get so caught up in the art, and it's so easy to do, that we don't focus on that, and then we don't pay attention to how much money we actually made, or you know what we're doing with the money that we get, and just all the things. So I'm really, and then also building your clientele. It's one thing to be able
Yeah.
to do all these cool things, and you definitely need to know how to do that because
Yeah.
when the client finally comes, you have to be able to figure it out on how to do it or already have it in your library. So, but that's one of the main focuses that I'm trying, building my clientele, learning how this thing we call social media works.
Yeah.
And there's so
Yeah.
much
You're
going
doing good.
on
You're
with
doing
that.
good at that. Yeah.
I am trying.
Yeah.
It is a third, fourth, and fifth job with social
You do it,
media.
you do it well. You do it well. I love what you said about all that because, Patricia, spot on. We're all entertainers, and I get that too, and I so get that. But I always say this too. We always focus about this at Bling, and of course, Nick delivered this really well as well. And balloons aren't free,
Yeah.
conventions aren't free. Okay,
Hmm.
nothing's free. It's all gone up. So you
Yeah.
have to have business expenses and treat it like a business because it is a business. And your
Hmm.
time is worth something too, even though we're artists, we love it. But when we're buying our balloons, they're not giving it to us for free. So there's
That's true.
nothing wrong with charging what you need to charge and learning when to do those special things that you shared earlier, like the so-called barters, if you will. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're worth it. Sometimes they're not. Okay, but
Yeah.
there is a time and a place for that. So no,
Hmm.
I love that you're saying all that you're aware, because that's so good. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Wow. Well, good. And I can see why you are focusing on deco twisting, which is the well-roundedness, and that's going to make you money too, which
Yeah.
art.
Because I mean, it really like, again, like I said, I really feel like it's the best dance if you're open to it because everybody has their thing, and you try to bring everybody on the other side, but at the end of the day, if you love rounds, you love rounds. If you love 260s, you love 260s. It's just what it is, If you
Right.
love dabbling in both worlds, well, come on
Right.
over to our world,
Right. No,
right?
you're right. We all have our thing that we like. We were talking
Mhm.
earlier before we were taping, and I just think, and you guys can like comment if you like. I think Patricia has like one of the best personalities, and I think she could do a show. And maybe she never thought about that before, but I really think you could do a balloon show. And
Oh, that would be great.
yeah, keep yourself
So,
open. You don't
what
know, you
might
know?
start here.
Right. Exactly. There you go. Tell us,
Yeah.
stick up artistry and design.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
how'd that come about?
I'm affiliated with an organization called Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Oh, good.
It's one of the Divine Nine sororities. With Sigma
Had to
Gamma
do some
Rho,
bad things to get into that. I know. No, I'm kidding.
I did not. It is a
those
professional
those are all
organization.
those are all the rumors about sororities, right?
Not at all. See, that's we get a bad rep. We get a
I
bad
know.
rep.
I was in a
It's
fraternity too. It wasn't like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, see, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And then, that's the thing I always say, because I was just having a conversation with a good friend, because they were saying that, like, it's so sad with all the people in the world who are just so mean
Yeah.
and, they don't want to do good. And I said, but you have to understand in any organization or whatever, there's always people who want power. That's all that they care about. So
Sure.
unfortunately, with fraternities and sororities, they get a bad rap because, certain people get in and all they care about is power. And
Yeah.
since they know these people want what they have,
Right.
they're going to do whatever. But at the end of the day, I had some of the people. In fact, it's one of my sorors who's
Yeah.
the one, my friend, who's the one who tricked me into building this
Aw,
business.
she's really a good friend. That's great. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but shout out to all my sorors in Sigma Gamma Rho.
Yeah,
Somebody might be watching this
definitely.
today. But back to what you were saying about with
Yeah.
my name. So,
Yeah.
with Sigma Gamma Rho, we're known for stepping with canes. And in our step shows, we'll flip canes and things of that nature. So, when
Wow.
I was the step, no, I was one of the step masters at one point in time, but I was more of a cane queen than a stepper. I can step, but I can really twirl really well.
Oh, wow.
But I might have to, I'm a little rusty. I haven't done it in a while.
Right. Right.
So if you
Wow.
notice, if you notice with my twisting Tuesdays that I do, you
Yeah.
always notice that I flip my
Right.
hand pump.
Yeah.
So that comes from from
Oh,
twirling my cane and doing different types of tricks with my cane.
have you ever
So
said that on there and explained that?
well, it's I always feel like my name is a good conversational piece.
It is.
And that's how people get to know the history behind stick up artistry and design. So just the same way you asked me the question, now you know. And
Yeah.
so if someone were to ask you again, or if someone say, hey, you know why? I saw this girl, Patricia, and her name is Stick up Artistry and Design. Why? You probably will tell them the story as to the fact that so if you get it, it's stick up. So
Yeah.
if you look at a cane and it goes up this way, that's where the U is. So stick up artistry and
Right.
design. So that's the beauty in my name.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now the sorority, sorry, I'm calling it fraternity,
Mhm.
sorority, is that, I know it was at the school you were at, but is that a
Mhm.
national one where there's other sororities and other colleges and
Yeah.
universities? Oh,
Yep.
great.
So there are chapters at other universities and colleges. There are also grad chapters as well. So once
Yeah.
you graduate from wherever school that you went to, you can go on to a grad chapter. And I'm currently still active in a grad chapter as well.
So that's good for your business too, because you would hope
Mhm.
that some of those sorority sisters listening to this video that
Yes.
that are loyal to you, as well, like your other sorority sister was and got you started. That is so cool. That's
But
great.
yeah, that's how the name came
I
to
did not
be, and I
expect
just stuck
that.
with it. But if you notice in my and that's the other thing too, like I just really love stories. And so if you notice in my new logo, again, shout out to Custom Visions. They're the ones who created my
Okay,
new logo. We kind of went back and
very
forth
nice.
in regards to because like I explained to them, and it's really important for me to have something that that I love, that I can tell a story to. So if you see in my logo, you see the U is a little bit taller. So just like we talked about, that's where the
Yeah,
cane comes into play. And then I want to say it's in the P. You see a small balloon in it.
right.
And so again, it's just really nice. It is clean. It's still fun, and it's some fun colors as you can see.
Yeah,
and
no question.
um,
Yeah,
and so, I just love it.
that is so cool. That is so cool. Wow, I did not expect that.
I know, right? There's so
that was
much.
a
That's what
great.
I said.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
makes it so much fun.
Yeah, and the thing is, and that's what this interview is all about, is to get to know
Mhm.
people better. Because, like, like I know that you have been. This is the first time we met was this past
Okay.
July. Oh, we had talked
So
a little.
we've been talking a
Yeah,
lot.
we were talking, and that was great. Sounds like last
We're like
November.
internet buddies.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And and that's great. But there's people like you've seen some of these interviews that I've known for many years, and we all think we know them. We don't, saying
Yeah.
we do to some degree, but no one sits down and has a conversation, gets to know people. So I love
Mhm.
that you said yes to this too, because I want to,
Yeah.
get to know you and have everybody else on here know you a little bit better. So that's awesome. Very
Thank you.
cool. Very cool. You're welcome. Tell us, is there anything else that we missed about your business, your intentions with your business, that you want to focus on or look into? I know some of
Mhm.
them you don't know, like when I threw at you today about the show, but but anything that you want to work on. I know the
Mhm.
dresses, but or you want to share with people before we
Yeah.
talk about bling.
So right now I will say another focus is really just um honing my craft, just being
Yeah.
okay with the type of artist that I am. So many times we get so focused on what someone else can do and what you can't do, but you
Oh, I
forget
know.
all the things that you can do,
Yeah.
and or the things that you can do and you really should be focused on perfecting it or really honing it or making it better. Because I just look back at my very first balloon dress that I created, and I never forget like how that even started. I was watching again. We're always on YouTube. What is
Right.
it about YouTube, right?
Right.
But I was on YouTube and I saw Crystal Yeet. She was doing. I want to say she was doing an interview too, and she was doing a tutorial on
Mhm.
how to make a balloon dress. And I said to myself, "That's got to be easy. I can twist. Surely I can make a balloon dress, right?" And so I also told myself I wasn't going to watch the whole thing because I want to say it was about an hour and a half long, but I
Right.
ended up watching the whole thing. I
Uh,
was just really intrigued with one, who. had the right mind to say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
Yeah.
weave a dress out of balloons and
Yeah.
someone's going to wear
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
then someone else said, you know what? I'm going to pick up this talent. So I watched the whole thing and I
Yeah.
said, okay, fine, I can do this. And so then I discovered it's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just the type of person that once I have my mind set on something, I'm just going to keep doing it. And I
Right.
did. And I had some challenges, but I was really proud about with the final product that
Yeah.
I got. And I will say, just if we're just going off a little bit, one
Yeah.
of the things I also feel like as artists, we need to really revel in the beauty of learning as we go along, you know?
Yeah. We have to invest in our learning. There's no question. Yeah.
Right.
Time and or conventions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just like you learn so many different things or habits that you have that you should change or don't change because it works for you or
Yeah.
so I just kept doing balloon dresses and um I haven't met anybody here in Georgia who's interested in making dresses like me.
Right.
So really made it really difficult to find someone. If I needed someone with help with a balloon garland or to do a build or something, I could find anyone hands down. Now, I
Yeah.
may not be in the right circles. After this interview, I might meet that person. But as of right
Yeah.
now, I am the only person I know here who
Yeah.
does it. So I just kept telling myself, well, we make all these friends on Instagram. I will DM some people to see
Yeah.
maybe somebody will be kind enough to help me. I've had plenty of artists who've been able to give me a tip here and there, but I've also noticed, and I think we talked about it too,
Yeah.
that some artists we just keep things to the vest. We don't always like to share or
Yeah.
and to be honest with you now, especially after leaving Bling Bling Jam, I
Yeah.
kind of understand it a little bit because
Yeah.
sometimes it's not that an artist doesn't want to help someone else. They just want to, they can't, you have to be at a certain point for them to be able to help you. They can't take you from the very beginning to the end.
Well,
Whereas
with
some
a
artists
dress,
can do
yeah,
that,
that's yeah.
you
If
know?
or somebody just begins twisting, that's for sure. But
Right.
but I do think that we have an atmosphere of a lot of helping at Bling Bling Jam for sure.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, but you're
And I
right about
definitely
that.
felt that when I was there.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Phew. I was like, phew.
I know
That's what
that's
I tried to
that's important,
yeah.
but even but I the type of person I am, I'm grateful. Even if you said, okay, I'm only going to show her from 2 to 3, but I'm not showing her 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. That's
Yeah,
okay. You can give me the 2 to 3. I'll take it from there.
right.
Or if I know I can't go any further, I'll just keep perfecting through 3 until somebody can get me to 4.
Right.
So that's just kind of been my journey with the balloon dressmaking. I really would love to continue to grow on that. The great thing is that
Yeah.
I finally, my husband told me I'm a commissioned artist now. I sold my very first balloon dress, which
Yeah,
is
you think.
amazing.
Yeah, it
I'm
is. A lot
so
of people
excited
don't.
about that.
A lot of people don't sell the dresses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've made a lot of balloon dresses, and it was really just again for promotional value for me, as far as learning. It's all been fun. I got to do a
Yeah.
fashion show where people didn't even know it was a thing. It was an actual fashion show, just clothes, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, here comes my balloon dress, and they're like, "What in the world is
Right.
that?" So
Right.
that was really fun, and I was really grateful for the person who put that together to even allow me to step into
Yes.
that arena, So just continue to do that, continue to learn more. I mean, and I really want to focus on making a really long dress. My dresses have always been short, and that's
Yeah.
okay because
Yeah.
as you know, making balloon dresses takes hours. That's why
Very true.
people are like, I have.
Especially when you was in 160s, which I think
Mhm.
makes them look more elegant, overall, depending on
Yeah.
what you're making. Depending on what you're
I
making.
was gonna say everybody has their preference.
Exactly.
I've seen some people do with 260s, and
Yeah.
because of their weaving technique,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No, oh,
so like
there's no
in
question.
sync.
And some people can stretch them. Like Balloon Josh does a great job. And
Right.
there's a lot of them. I just learned from
Mhm.
Debbie, like you did, and I just
Yeah.
and I
And Debbie,
didn't.
she likes to work with 160s.
Yes, and she likes to shape the woman's body like in a certain way. She
Hmm.
always said the woman doesn't want to look fat. It already
Crystal says that as well.
right, which is true. I get it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's some other artists out there. You have Molly Balloons.
Oh
I've
yeah, she's
had the
been a Bling Bling Jam
opportunity.
before.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've had the
that's great.
opportunity to work with I've had the opportunity to work with why am I drawing a blank here? Grant. He's worked with Molly Balloons as well. There's a very young gentleman on Instagram. His name is Balloon Rush. He's so very talented.
I
Um,
don't know him. Okay.
but you got to check him out.
Yeah,
He's so talented, and they've just all been so very kind. Anytime I have questions,
sure.
here in Georgia, that was one of the very first balloon friends that I met. They go by Lou and Lee. It's
Oh
actually
yeah.
Oscar and
Uh-huh.
They
Yeah.
they put on a balloon convention
Yes.
here as well,
Yes.
but they've always been so gracious to me too. In the very beginning,
Yeah.
answering questions that I had. They do more big builds
Yeah.
and working with rounds
Right.
rather than twisting. They tell me all the time,
Right.
Patricia, that's your thing.
Right. Right. Of course.
So
Yeah, I
really
know of them. I
encourage
don't know
that.
them, but yeah, very,
Mhm.
very cool.
But
That's
yeah,
not.
and then
Oh, go
and
ahead.
then like here in Georgia,
Yeah.
there's just so many talented artists here
Yeah.
that is just really nice to be able
Yeah.
to just interact with them.
Yeah. And like I said,
Mhm.
you have to meet Mr. Me, James Smith. He's a
Oh,
twister. Way back. You'll love him. He's great. Definitely somebody you have to
Mhm.
meet. So, and James, you're listening to this, I'm giving you a shout out. Well, that's great. Well, Patricia, this is awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to add on to your business that you wanted to
Mhm.
share, or anything else? Did we miss anything?
Well, I do a thing called Twisting Tuesdays
Yeah,
every
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for the most part, I try
And
to
that's
do
on
it every
Instagram.
Tuesday. It's on
Yeah,
Instagram. I also
yeah.
funnel it over to my Facebook page as well.
Perfect,
But I do a thing
perfect.
called Twisting Tuesdays. That really
Yeah,
is.
I love
I know
them.
people say that is a great way that I am showcasing my talent, but it's really for me, to be honest,
It's smart
just to make sure
business.
that it,
It's smart
or
business,
it's
actually.
for me to keep
Right,
my skills sharp because a
right.
lot of times we forget the small things and like
Yeah,
when I teach my classes
yeah,
I remind students about that even though something might be simple and you want to do the big distortion flower and all
yeah,
of that, you really got to focus on the small simple things first. You need to focus on making sure your pinch twists are the same. You need to
yeah,
focus on learning the terminology, just knowing that because you
yeah,
might meet somebody and they might be willing to help you, but if you don't even know what a two finger bubble is, or it kind
yeah.
of makes it a little bit difficult
We call that
to
being a student of your business, right?
yeah,
Call that. That's what we
very much
call that.
so.
A student of
I
your
need to
business.
use that. But I
Yeah,
try to remind people that, when you start off with something very simple, the larger things don't seem as daunting, because you've been able to deal with the small things and take pride in doing the small things. The small things, people love that as well, just as much as the large things.
yeah,
So, just focusing on that.
yeah,
Doing that in teaching, I think that I have gotten a knack for that because people
yeah.
say they really like the way that I teach because I teach to them opposed to, oh, I guess
Oh,
in
you
another
know
way
what?
away
When
from
you
them.
teach Patricia and you have
Hmm.
that in you, right? A lot of
Hmm.
people don't realize this. The best student is you, the teacher, right? And
Hmm.
and when you think of it through, no, how you break it down, like
Hmm.
Aaliyah, there was a lot of comments about her teaching for the first time
Yeah,
at the Ling Gym, and I believe that. And then if you always remember that of how
yeah,
you learn, then you're going to be a good teacher, and that
that's
means
true.
you're a good student, right? And I can
I
already
try to
tell.
do.
Yeah, I can already tell, but you're new in the balloon business, but you're doing great. So
Thank
that's
you.
that's it. Oh, you're
I
welcome. You're
appreciate
welcome. Well, that's exciting. I love it. And going back to your Twist and Tuesdays, guys are
it. Hmm.
listening to this. We live a life of abundance, right? And it's all good to support each other and our fellow artists. There's enough business for everybody. Even if you're living in her
That's right.
area,
It's
in her
true.
area, saying it's like who, so what? Saying somebody who don't understand that there's like other conventions. They say things like, I'm like, I always tell people I love all conventions. Okay. What I'm saying, yeah, of course, I always say all conventions are great, but believe me, just that much better. But that's my personal thing. But we all trying to make it, and so if there are people listening to this, check her out. I mean, show her some love, and yeah, it's just nice. And she's I can tell just by getting to know Patricia, she had some things people, help her out too, but she's willing to help you too. You know what I'm saying? So
For
if that's
sure.
okay for me to say that,
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
what I get
definitely
out
for
of you.
sure.
So
People ask all the time. People ask all the time. I mean, there's some things
yeah,
too. I mean, you understand. There's some things that you're just like, yeah, no problem. I can help you with that. That's simple. But
yeah.
then there's some things that's kind of like, hey, we got to do a one-on-one on that, and that
Oh,
costs
oh,
money.
no, there's no question. People reach out to me
Hmm.
all the time. There's another guy that reached out to me the other day and he's like, how did you make that crown? Do you have a tutorial? And actually, I do have to dig it out, saying,
Right.
oh, okay. And like, there's people you just don't realize. And
Hmm.
sometimes time,
Yeah.
if I can help
Because
someone. But
I take one-on-one classes all the time.
sure.
Brant, he's I believe it's Andrade or Andrea Balloons on
Mm,
Instagram. I
mm,
mean, he's fantastic, and he
great.
makes all of these beautiful weaves and things,
Sure.
and he incorporates it with his talent of like entertainment because he performs
Sure.
and stuff. But
Sure.
I've taken classes with him as well. I've taken,
Sure.
I've come to
Yeah,
Bling Bling
of
Jam.
course.
I'm I have plans on going to other conventions and so
Sure.
you have, as you mentioned before, you got to invest in yourself as well.
You do.
So
You do. And then we all learn formulas from people till we get our own designs, right? And
mhm,
that's
that's
that's how
correct.
that's how it works. So okay, so let's talk about Bling Bling Jam. So again, I was
Okay.
super excited that you came and it was great to meet you and I wanted to meet you. So I was happy when you reached out to me. And I know that you wanted to learn your whole purpose was dresses.
It was.
And I think that, and you knew that Debbie was going to be there because Debbie is always at my event and
Mhm.
she usually teaches dresses mostly. At my
Okay.
event. She's the dress queen, as you know. And I know that you had some, you
Okay.
mentioned me back last November. And I don't know, I know Connie talked to you, Connie Adamons, and I think
Yeah.
um, Denise talked to you as well,
Yeah.
who I love Denise as well. She ran like the first balloon cruise, if you guys don't know. And what else? And I don't know who else, but anyway, tell us how your experience was, uh,
Okay.
you know, and I know you learned more than dresses, although that was your whole purpose, and of course, we were so excited because this happens with Debbie, and you did a great job on the
Thank you.
competition. We hadn't had our regular competitions back since 2019. We did do
Okay.
a parade competition last year. We were easing into it, the dresses with the costume.
Possible.
So
Hmm.
some people didn't like that, but the truth was our numbers weren't there yet until this year. We had a lot more people come back. It was a great convention.
Okay.
People, twisters, saying are not very good at business or they just were lacking stuff, saying, and I understand that. So so this year we had separate categories, and of course, you won first place. So that on judges and also on people's choice. And then of
Hmm.
course, you know, um, I'll tell you the other story about Rising Star afterwards. But
Okay.
let's talk about that was a mouthful. Let's talk about your experience at Bling Bling Jam.
Okay.
Well, what you thought of the event, what you got out of it
Mhm.
with the dresses, and how Debbie was, and anything else you want to add on outside of dresses. You know?
So I had a fantastic experience at Bling Bling Jam. It was really I'm grateful that I did come out. You're correct. I did only come out there for the
Right.
dresses. That was my main
You
focus.
were clear. Yeah.
Now here's the thing, and I think it could just be me. Uh, a lot of times when you go to balloon conventions, if you don't have the right type of personality, they can be very daunting because there's so much in a room
Yeah.
and it's all there and there's so many questions that you have and guess what, all the answers are right there, so it's really difficult to focus. Sometimes you're kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to run over here and learn that because I've been wanting to learn how to do this flower, and then it's like a squirrel moment because then you're
Like
rushing
having
over there
ADD. Yeah.
right. And so I found from going to my very first convention that, or maybe it's just my personality. Look, Patricia, we're going to this convention. We need to just think about four things that we need to take away.
Sure. Spot
Like
on.
there's it kind of sucks sometimes because you're like, dang, I was right at that convention. I could have learned that and I could have made some money. But you really gotta hone down sometimes and unless you're the type of person that can remember everything as soon as you learn it. I'm not that person.
No, no,
You
me
know?
neither. Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that flying out there that my focus was on the dresses because I
Yeah.
had a lot of questions and I had no idea when I would be able to meet somebody else again to be able
Yeah.
to ask those questions. So I wanted to be able to utilize and maximize that time as much as possible. I knew there was going to be some other cool people there. You know, I've met Joe.
Yeah.
From another convention. I've watched plenty of his videos before even being able to meet him.
Amazing.
Um, I was I was amazed, just like when meeting Debbie, but had no idea Mary was gonna be there. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness,
And
what?
Karen, oh,
You
the
know?
Karen, yep, yep. We had a
Right. So
we had a really good convention, and
right.
it was a really good
And
turnout. Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed myself. I was
Yeah.
grateful to be able to do that. Grateful to be able to meet so many different artists.
Mhm.
Grateful to just be in the building. You know, grateful to be able to
Yeah.
help people because you have a thing called Top Dog where everybody is doing all of the things, and
Yes.
I was like, that's
Oh,
insane.
who did you
Okay, you
help?
gotta pick something.
Yeah, who did you help?
I'm trying to remember. I know I helped two people because
Yeah.
it was something basic that
Okay.
is nothing for me to do,
Awesome.
you know?
That's
So
great.
and that's a beauty too to me. What I've been learning because I didn't know that like people do things in groups. I didn't realize that in order to create something really big, somebody is
Yeah.
working on the weaving on this part, someone's working on the distortion on this
At
part,
times.
and then
Yeah.
this person is working, and then they just put it all together,
Mhm.
right? And then it's one big thing, but it's a team of people. I'm so used to
Yeah.
just working in my craft room by myself, you know? So it was really nice to be able to do that. And then also sit with Debbie, had an opportunity to sit with Mary, which was great as well.
Good.
Um, and the other thing I really love is just the fact that you could just really tell that people just really respect everybody's art. It's like no
Yeah.
animosity or no like I do it better than this
Yeah.
person or anything like that.
No, we
It's just
try not to have that a bling bling. I tell people, I don't care what your balloon politics are, your other politics, whatever it is, we all get along or get out.
but
Right?
no, it's important to be able to do that. It's really important.
Yeah. And you fit right in. You
Oh,
fit right
listen,
in.
I try, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like I do because I don't know what kind of energy some of y'all balloon people are on. I'm just like, look, man, I need about at least about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and
No, me
everybody.
too. No, no, I know what you mean. No, I hope you don't think I'm in that category.
But I mean, it's while it's amazing, it's still kind of like,
Hmm.
man, I don't have that type of gas. I need to sleep.
Of course, of course, of course.
But you
Yeah,
also feel like
otherwise,
you're missing something. You feel like you're missing something because you come back in the room and people have all these stories, and you're like, if I could have just stayed up 1 more hour, you know?
yeah, yeah. Wow. So cool. So, okay. And so you felt that with the dresses, you got what you were looking for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I I was doing really well with my dresses, but I already knew what my major points were,
Hmm.
like that I really need to fix. But
Hmm.
again, just didn't have anybody to ask those questions to.
Yeah,
So I feel that like my dress, well, each dress I always say, like, best dress I've ever made, But
yeah,
I just know that each dress I've learned something new. And so that's what's made it really great. But this dress was really good. And I will
yeah,
say, and I know you're gonna be like, I can't believe Patricia.
yeah.
Again, I was thinking about not competing. I just wanted,
Really? Wow.
yeah,
I'm so glad you did.
I like to observe. I'm that
Yeah,
type of person. I like to
yeah,
observe. I like to soak in things sometimes because I feel like sometimes that's the best teacher. Um,
sure. You did
and so
great. Like, I mean, really good. Your weaving was
yeah,
nice and tight. I remember I had talked to you about your weaving before, and
yeah,
but it wasn't bad, but it was like you really
mhm,
got it right now.
yeah,
So
type.
it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, even now, I'm still working on that because I
of
still
course.
feel like with some dresses, some are better than
I
others.
haven't
But
done a dress in years, and I have to go and play around and get my weaving down
It's
right.
like a bake. You pick
Yeah,
it right back up.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just eyeballing it and just knowing, but
Mhm.
the
But I will say
oh,
that that goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, sometimes you, and I'm guilty of it as well, but you really gotta focus on the fact that, like, hey, I'm a really good artist as well. I may not do it like this person,
yeah.
but I have a skill and it also has value to it as well. So is you will really go down a rabbit hole trying to compare yourself to other
Oh,
people. You know?
question, no question. You
Mhm.
no,
And
you're
you may never get to that person's level. You know, you just
yeah,
never know. Like that person might have all the available time in the world, whereas you have to do a million things and then you only
right,
can commit to practicing for maybe 2 hours in the week, where
right,
they can do 10 hours for a week. So
right.
just really got to be really proud about what you can do and
Yeah,
what that looks like.
yeah. No, no question. Now, as you know, I was producing the event, so I was all
Mhm.
over the place. Um,
Okay.
but I know recently we're starting to upload the replays, or like Debbie did her class with me before Bling Bling Jam, and I
Yeah.
put some different things in there. So you had showed me a picture of a weave that was not
Yeah.
taught in our class, or that was on.
And so she did show us how to do a sweetheart neckline.
Okay,
She started first with, you know, just doing the regular across.
yeah,
Um, I guess that's another thing I didn't really mention. I'm
yeah,
the type, again, no, I did mention it. I like to watch. I like to watch first. I know sometimes I'm not afforded that because if you don't learn it right there, you're just not going to get it. But sometimes I really like to
true.
watch and
Right.
then I need to take it back to my space and then really dive deep into
Yeah,
it. So I was watching her do a lot of things,
yeah,
opposed to, but I also know that I was afforded to be able to do that because it's my specialty, you know. So I know
yeah.
with some people they can't really do that because if they don't learn it right now, that's it. So being able to be able to watch the
The
replay
replay, yeah, which a
and
lot of people don't do that,
do
but me. Right. Yeah.
but also, once I took her class, I went back to my room and I played around with it. That's another good thing too, because I know how to do a sweetheart neckline, but
Yeah.
everybody has different tricks. Everybody has different ways,
And
or
it's
you know, it's just. And the good thing too is that it's good to know different variations of how to do things because you just never know where
yeah.
you're going to be or what you need. So it was really nice to be able to learn her technique.
Hmm. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's what you show me the weave. It looked fabulous. I was like, oh, good for you. That was great. Yeah, and that's another thing. The replays, that just everybody watching this, some people don't understand. So over COVID, I had my event in 2021 when nobody else was having an event, and
Mhm.
I had it for a couple of days as people really wanted to get out. And a lot of people had COVID. So
Yeah,
I did a combo of virtual and in person. It was really difficult. So we had everybody pre-taped the classes. What we learned was everybody said with Vegas and like when you're traveling, you're tired, you're not remembering stuff, you want to look back at things, was that
yeah,
it was a great thing to have the replay. Not just that, but I want to know what the teacher's going to teach beforehand if I can. Sometimes the teacher's a little delayed and they all work hard and do great and I love them
yeah,
all. But like this year, I really, I still, people are sent to me at the very end. Uh, that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying. But the thing is, I want to know what they're going to teach beforehand. And
mhm,
it's a dry run. I know you've been teaching too. It's a dry run for people and I've taught too, where you're going to teach. You have to know what you're going to teach and prepare and plan it. So why not
right,
do a dry run? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's the purpose. Sometimes people don't understand it, but the
yeah,
attendees like it and appreciate it because they forget everything. You know what I'm saying,
mhm.
afterwards. So those are the purposes. So I'm glad that
The
worked.
other part too
Yeah.
that you have to remember is because it is a deco twisting convention. So there are times because
Take
I
both
know it
classes.
happened to me. I
Yeah.
can't go to one class because I'm trying to go to this class, and
Yeah.
they're happening simultaneously at the same
Yes.
time. So
Yes.
being able to say, okay, well, I know at some point I'll be able to watch the replay.
Yes.
I can go to this class, or I can pick and choose between one
Yes.
class rather than
Yes.
saying, like if you go to another convention, you'll find a friend and you'll say, okay, you go to this class, I go to this class, and then we
Yeah.
teach each other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and to be clear about that, thank you for bringing that up, Patricia.
mhm,
We always had one class at a time until we did decor. So
mhm,
we have one class going on at a time in twisting and one class in decor. So it's not
yeah,
like if you're just a twister, you're going to miss anything, or you're just a decorator. If you're a deco twister, which is what our convention is, okay, then yes. So that's the
it's
whole
difficult.
purpose.
I
Just
mean,
yeah.
to be honest though, sometimes just introducing simple twists to people,
Oh,
they
yeah,
decide that, oh, you know what, I'm going to check out the twisting class, even
exactly.
if they're just a deco person.
Exactly.
So
Thanks for
you
saying
just
that.
never know. It's always just nice to have it just in case.
Oh, for sure. We say that a lot of the decorators would start coming to Bling Bling Jam to learn embellishments. And
Mhm.
okay, and then a lot of the twisters, when they realized I got to make some more money, they might
Yeah.
got some things that they're like, oh, this is not that difficult. Uh,
Hmm.
or whatever. So you're right. Oh, spot on with that. And I love your perspective. So that's great. That's great. Okay, so Debbie's so you learned a lot with Debbie. Not to put you on the spot, but who was your top teacher or teachers, should I say, of what you got? I mean, it was Debbie, I know, is on the top.
Okay.
Brando on the top too. Is there anybody else that pointed out to you that you said, "Oh, I didn't expect this"? I know your whole purpose was the dresses, but was there
Yeah.
anything else or any other serendipities, just to let people know what you
Hmm.
how you felt, or were you surprised about, because I know you were there for just for dresses, but were you surprised at what you saw or anything like that that you can share?
Well, just to be honest, I spent a lot of time in and out between Debbie and Mary's classes.
Okay, good.
I really had an opportunity to interact with Joe and both
Yeah.
Darrens in
They're
the
great,
jam
right?
room.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are like really my main focus and trying to
Okay.
get some sleep
Yeah, no, yeah, of course, of course.
because I was up all night.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that because
yeah,
what I'm trying to remember. Oh, because at night were the shows, so it was the
yeah,
competitions and stuff. So I wanted to watch those as
yeah.
well, but then
Oh,
also have
good.
to remind myself I got to go back to my room and I have to do my own piece too.
It's a
So
busy event,
staying
I
up,
know. Yeah,
yes, I was up all night doing my dress. And
yeah,
then you turn around and go back to classes, and then you got to come back to compete. And then also I was in the other hotel,
me
so that was
too.
an
Yeah,
experience because I had to move my dress from the
yeah,
hotel over to the
yeah,
hotel where we
yeah.
were.
Not that far
And
though, right?
yeah,
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
far, but the thing is that if you
It's
see a
hot.
balloon dress
Yeah,
on a mannequin
yeah, and
and
the
it's wet,
Fremont Street. Yeah,
like
they'll stop and you. There's already enough weirdos out there, Patricia. You don't need any more attention.
people thinking it's a dead body or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Especially the
that
other
was
hotel's
interesting.
haunted, right?
Right. And then keeping the dress cool because you already know about
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
so that was really my focus. So I again, like I
I
said, I was thinking about not competing, but I'm
so
glad I
glad you
did.
did.
I'm glad I
Yeah,
did.
yeah. And you won, hands down. So
Mhm.
she, just so you guys know, watching, she won first place for the judges, and the judges are experienced, and they all discussed it, and she won first place on People's Choice, which doesn't always happen. So that was great. And then I don't think you know this. Maybe you know this. So we have the Rising Star Award, and I usually discuss it beforehand. I had
Mhm.
not, I forgot. Okay. So we're looking on the thing. I go, oh my God. And I go and I turn over, I look in the audience, and instantly it was like ding, Patricia. Okay. In my head. And I go over to Debbie. I go, Debbie, I didn't discuss this with you. And I said, I totally forgot about this trophy because that's when we discuss. The other ones are
Mhm.
voted or whatever, and I don't even know who wins because she gives it to me right then and there, right? I don't know. But that one, and then as soon as I said to Debbie, she goes, "Oh God,
Mhm.
yes." It was like it's like, as we discuss it. So it was perfect. And that's really what happened. I don't know if you know that, but that's
I I'm just grateful. You know, I
Yeah.
try to stay. I know people like, oh, Patricia, you really shouldn't, but I just try to stay humble. I mean, it's important to me
Yeah.
because I feel like that opens a lot of doors for you. Not just
Yeah.
like I'm trying to do that just to get something, but I
No,
really
no,
feel like
no. Of
sometimes,
course.
right?
Of course. No, no, no. We knew that. The thing is,
Mm,
Patricia and everybody, the reason why we chose you on that, and that what was my mind, because you had such a good attitude, you were so
mm,
thankful, okay, and you really were pushing yourself, and everything you shared, we were observing you, and I saw
okay.
that, the thing, and Debbie saw that, and it was like you were the perfect rising star. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're taught, but the thing is, usually in the balloon world, nobody teaches on a thing unless they've been in the business about 5 years. Usually that's been the thing. Not to say it has to
Mhm.
be a rule, but people want to know that you're successful and you're trying, but you've done so many great things quick and you have a good attitude about it. Like, I mean, and it shows that you're in love with it. And that's what I think
Mhm.
matters. So it's huge. So no, we were so happy that you were definitely the one who deserved it. It was hands down, even though
Thank
it was
you. I
last
appreciate
minute.
it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So that's great. Anything else you want to share with anybody about your experience about Bling Bling Jam or anything
Mm.
else that you want to share with your closing comments?
Well, I mean, Blink Blink Jam is not just about balloons. I mean, it's definitely a fun time on Fremont Street. It's
Oh,
plenty
yeah.
of stuff to see, plenty of things to eat. You know,
Yes.
you're definitely going to walk away with a friend. So that's always good as well. You know,
Yes.
just try to keep an open mind. Try to try to go in with a plan. If you're like me, try to focus
Yeah.
on a few things that when you walk away, you know that for sure I can do these
Yeah.
3 or 4 things. And yeah, you know, just continue to inflate, create, and design.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. This was
Well,
great.
thank you.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. And I think that you guys watching, hopefully that this got you to know Patricia a little bit better. I mean, I sure got to know her better on this, which is great. And like she said, look her up on Instagram, but on this video too, show her some love. She'll be looking back at the video, put
Yeah,
some thumbs
I
up
want
and
to see
comments.
everyone in the comments.
Yes, and this is going to air Friday at 1 o'clock East Coast time.
Okay.
So we're going to put that up on a premiere. So we'll be in the chat room, hanging out, okay? And good stuff, guys. And we're going to have more coming on here. So make sure you share, subscribe, tell your friends about this. Again, we just want a different perspective of people and get to know each other because I think that's what it's all about. And we are all living a life of abundance that are
Yeah.
part of this Blooming Jam family. So everybody over and out. Thank you so much, everybody. And thanks you, Patricia. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Over and out. Bye-bye.